So this is what happens when the wife knows that you have a show, and she comes literally as you start the intro saying that she needs love. You forgot? How did you forget? It's the intro music, my love. Well, hold on, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be right back. Sorry. No, you're not. Because, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot deny your partner love that they're seeking in the affection that they crave and deserve. On that note, which has nothing to do with tonight's topic, tonight we're going to be talking about anime that has that societal commentary, that it says something about the world that we actually live in or a world that we could live in. And it's not that light, fluffy stuff. No, we're going deep. We're hitting the heavy stuff tonight because why not? That's the best way to do it. Yeah, she is. You already know firsthand that she is very forgetful, sir. Thank you. I know. It's okay. But we're going to talk about the societal brain stop workingness of anime and when it is deep. So I'm not alone because I'm not going to fumble through this by myself. I'm going to bring in these two guys, and they're a lot better at this than I am because, yeah, well, they've done this before. And, of course, we've got the man of the hour that we missed so much, but he's better now, and he's back better than ever. He's like the $1 million man. He's been rebuilt faster, better, stronger, smarter, and stuff like that. I bring to you Patrick 8-Bits.
The best waifu of all was you, the viewer at home, all along.
Well, I thought they were the treasure that was at the end of the trip.
Oh, hell no. You go on the trip with the waifu. That's the whole point.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. And, of course, we cannot be complete without our other best friend, Saigon.
I'm here. I'm sorry, Reggie. I'm going to make a liar out of you. Not everything on my list is heavy. I have something lighthearted on my list.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I've been made a liar out of.
You can have lighthearted social commentary.
Yes.
I mean, the rest of my list is
actually, you know what?
Not that, but
yes. I can't say minor, all deep. I've got a medium deep one.
A medium deep
way. Yes. It's one that we both watched together at the same time. Because I was like, you got to watch this. And you're like, I'm watching it. Because I told you about it, and then you started watching it. We both watched it at the same time. The last one that we just spoke about. And it's already
gone.
That's okay.
I don't remember this conversation that we apparently had like 5 minutes ago.
You know,
Goose.
It's what happened. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I apologize. The name he just yelled, that is my fault. We had a cat that was supposed to be fixed, yet she wasn't. And then the wife's cat was like, oh, hey, look, let's go do this. They had babies. I gave him one of the babies, the twin to my cat. And the two orange ones are Hellions.
He's a darling. He's an angel. But like in the biblical sense, in that he's a burning wheel that drives you mad.
With all the eyes. Yes. Understandable. Yeah, his brother has gotten better. He's calmed down a lot, and he loves everybody now. So I'm sorry.
Are you?
No, not really.
I still think robot dogs are the way to go. Once we get the texture packs right and they can simulate love and snuggles just enough, I think it's the way of the future.
Everyone
agrees with me. I'm convinced I'm right. My opinions are awesome.
I've read Starship Troopers too recently to agree with that. Robert Heinlein has stymied my feelings on robot dogs.
Have you played the early access of the new Starship Trooper game, guys?
No,
I haven't. It looks great. I'm hearing good things, that it's already pretty polished.
Ooh.
The guys at work are all misty-eyed. I've seen some streamers playing it, and it looks cool.
Ooh. And I take it this is going to be on Steam and current gen consoles?
It's at least on Steam.
It's at least on Steam.
Yeah.
All right, that works. That works for me. All right, so tonight I will let Steven go first, Mr. I've got the big list.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and I'm going to full screen that. No, doesn't work. Okay. F11. No, doesn't work. All right. Fine. Oh, no, it's in full screen mode. There we go. All right. Present.
Presente.
Spend all day helping people with their computers. The joke is I don't know how they work.
You're not supposed to tell them that.
Yeah, sure. Allow the small monitor. Yes. There we go.
There's the thing.
There we go. There we go. This one's a classic.
Ooh.
I saw this on Sci-Fi Channel back in the
Armitage.
day. Armitage the Third, Polymatrix. This is actually, I think this is from the second movie. But yeah, fantastic, fantastic show. I'm going to sum it up real quick for you. It's basically Blade Runner. The real crux of it, though, is that, and there's going to be spoilers. So if you haven't seen Armitage, I do suggest
it's been like 30 years. You should have seen. This came out with Ninja Scroll, didn't it?
1995.
95.
1995.
Yeah.
So the entire idea of Armitage is it's very obvious social commentary. There's nothing subtle about it, but it revolves around the difference between, okay, well, artificial life can have thoughts and feelings and autonomy, but is that meaningful if it cannot procreate? And she can. She was created with the ability to make babies, which most of the series revolves around, why would you do that? So it's very insightful. It's definitely a less subtle look at the themes of Blade Runner or iRobot and a lot of classic sci-fi dealing with AI and, you know, should AI have rights? The stuff that we're starting to work towards today. It's a difficult subject. There's a lot of gray area in it. I feel like Armitage does a really, really good job at breaking things down and showing it from multiple perspectives. Fantastic show. Very much recommend watching it. It comes in two flavors. There's a series of OVAs, which is kind of the full and complete experience. And then there's the original movie, which is just Armitage the Third. The third being her model number. She's a third generation of a synthetic life form. The OVAs, there's a lot more to them, but I didn't realize the OVAs even existed until 10 years after I'd seen the movie on Sci-Fi Channel. And while it adds some, I don't feel like it's totally necessary. I feel like you're getting 90 to 95% of the story from a 2-hour movie instead of a 3.5-hour series of OVAs. So it's definitely good. I do recommend it. Let me, what is it? Control tab? Nope. That opens up a new one. There we go. Next one up. This is much more recent. 86. I need to finish this one still. This is another one it's not subtle. No, it's not subtle. The first episode is subtle, and then that subtlety ends with a mallet.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's horrifying, the idea that they're fighting wars that don't have any fatalities, any human fatalities, and that's only because they have reclassified the people who fight in the wars as being subhuman. And
you know that whole thing that we fought a giant war about.
Yeah, It's about racism.
It is.
It's about racism and violence, and it's not subtle. It's very, very good. I need to finish it. It's one of those shows that like Shannon and I started watching together, and then we were watching other things, and then it was like, when do we get back to this? And we did the same thing with Edge Runners. I have like 3 episodes of Edge Runners left. She's like,
At least you
just
started.
watch it without me.
At least you started it. It's still
Yeah.
on the list.
Reggie, I know you're familiar with 86. Pat?
So this was on a 2-watch list, but you know how it is. You don't reset your Mac often. I just have like a junk scratch file open, and I put it in. Ooh, to do watch 86. I rebooted my Mac, and it's saved as like Untitled 6 on my desktop somewhere.
Some pretty dark horror elements. Is the horror war? Or it gets more okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because
All right.
you learn more about those AIs. Oh my God, do you learn more about those AIs?
Control tab. There we go. Very much in line with 86. Gundam. Really, any Gundam is going to have social commentary, almost always on war. What's nice about Gundam, though, is that commentary tends to very much change to reflect the times. With Witch from Mercury, full on, instead of being about nations at war, but corporations devaluing human life and using
America.
and using their kids to fight proxy wars and violence in schools. And that seems to be the trend with Gundam. The show's been around longer than I have, and it's always topical. It's always reflective of what's going on. And I think you can go back and even going back and watching the original Gundam, it still holds up. It's still topical. Witch from Mercury is just incredibly impressive because it also deals with like gender roles, same-sex romance, the relationship of kids with their parents and parents abusing their kids in probably not obvious ways. And it is a fantastic show. And it's also a wonderful entry to the Gundam franchise because it takes place in its own universe. You don't have to worry about the whole Universal Century thing. You don't have to go in and be like, who's this Amuro Ray guy? And has this really been on the air for 40 years?
Yes.
Brand new setting. You can just jump into Witch from Mercury without knowing anything about Gundam. It's a good jumping in point. Either of you watching it?
No, it's on the list.
We're now, I think we're 2 episodes behind on this one.
Okay.
Our weekends have been so busy lately. It sucks.
I know. And also, sadly, as a side note, I also missed out on Street Fighter 6 because I didn't realize I needed a Capcom ID, and then I got lazy. I'm like, what do you mean you need a Capcom ID?
I completely missed Street Fighter 6. We had RPG night on Friday, and then we had board game day on Saturday. We missed you, by the way. And then Sunday was just like freaking recovery and dealing with kids. So there was no Street Fighter 6 this weekend.
Of course. But I was sitting there, I was looking at the demo. I'm like, oh, let me go do it. And I'm like, oh, I need a thing. So I did set up my Capcom ID. And of course, I can't get into the demo anymore. But that's okay. I'll live.
This is, I don't expect either of you two to have watched this. This is way more in my wheelhouse of super sappy romance comedy anime. This is Tomo-chan as a girl. And the idea,
it's on my list.
It's hilarious. And also way more clever than you expect it to be. Like, you go into this show and like the first couple episodes, you're like, all right, I see how it is. And then it's way smarter than I think it's trying to be. I don't know how intentional it was in being this smart, but it has so many layers and it's so dang clever. But the premise is these two, Tomo-chan, who's the redhead, and June were childhood friends. He didn't even realize that she was a girl until they got to middle school and she was wearing a sailor's uniform. And he's like, what are you doing wearing that?
Isn't that how it always goes? We're best friends. Yay. You're a girl? What?
Yeah, but before the series starts, she confesses to him, but he kind of interprets it as bro love. He's like, hey, I love you too, buddy. But it was an actual real confession, and he just didn't recognize her as being a woman and a possible love interest. And the series focuses on, her struggles with that, trying to get her best friend to see her as a possible romantic partner. And at the same time, getting sometimes assistance from her friends. But it does a lot to really bring up the ideas of, what are gender roles in a relationship and why the hell do we have gender roles in relationships. And it does a great job, honestly, of just breaking them down. Their relationship actually progresses through the series. I was happy with the ending of the season. Like we could not get more Tomo-chan, and I would be content with the ending that they gave me. Ooh. Which unheard of. So yeah, that's I wanted to end on a nice positive note. I love you, bro. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wanted to end on a high note. It's not heavy. It does deal with a lot of what I think a lot of societies are kind of wrestling with right now. There's some growing pains as far as gender roles and what we find attractive about other people and what we're told to find attractive in other people. So excellent series. Heartfelt, intelligent, and hilarious across the board. This was probably one of my favorite ones last season.
Nice. And actually, the way you described it at the end makes me think of a webtoon that I read called Not So Shouju Love Story. And
Not So Shouju Love Story.
Yes. Because the main protagonist, she thinks that she's the main protag in, of course, a shouju manga, and she tries to live her life accordingly. But she falls for someone she wouldn't think that would fall for her, but the other person fell first, and it's just exploring this relationship and all the different people and pieces that are interconnected, and it's throwing gender stereotypes and roles away and out the window and everywhere.
That's great. I love to see it, especially coming out of Japan, because socially they tend to be a lot more conservative socially than we are.
That's one way of saying it.
I'm choosing my words gently.
We don't get canceled overseas. No.
People overseas watch us.
I mean, one day they will.
But yeah, it's I'm enjoying seeing more and more of these shows, and I'm usually catching like at least one a season, maybe one every other season, that really surprises me. It's like, whoa, this is surprisingly forward thinking.
Oh, that reminds me of another one. And I watched it out of sheer curiosity of this can't go where I'm hoping it's not gonna go. It's the and I shaved in what the hell is the name of it? Somewhere where the guy shaves and he lets the like young girl lives in his house, but before she
I shaved and like brought in a teenage runaway.
Yeah,
that was another really good one. I haven't read the manga, but I enjoyed the show.
Yeah, I was like, bro, I'm like, where is this
Birdie Wing? Birdie Wing's on my list. I don't watch a lot of sports anime, but I hear good things about Birdie Wing.
Okay. Birdie Wing. But yeah,
also, it's golf. So like really not on my list.
That's the one with all the girls playing golf, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not on my list. I'm like, that sounds familiar.
Yuri golf action. Excuse me.
While I go look this up. You've had this
Seconds left to
curiosity, now
chat.
you have it. All right, so I will deem myself to be next up upon the podium, and I will start off with one that's a little bit lighter. Actually, I've got two light ones. I lied.
Are you going to go from like light to heavy or heavy to light?
I'm not going to go light to heavy.
Okay. All
'Cause
right,
I'm going
fine.
the opposite.
End on a downer.
Yeah, it's gonna. Well, not really. It's not really a downer, but it is heavy. So
Okay.
the first one that I have up is basically what happens when go with the flow literally becomes the norm, and if you don't, you get disappeared.
So, China,
Shh. But yes.
Russia.
And the first one on my list is Gotcha Man Crowds.
I love this show so much.
Right? And so you're going to think this is straight up a super magical girl / mecha anime versus aliens. It is not. It is not at all. It is literally saying that there are beings, they're called the... Nope, that's the book. What are these things called? Oh, what are the enemies called? Oh,
are you talking about the app?
No, the app and the alien.
The app.
Yeah, in the what they're called when they come out of the app.
I can't remember. It's been a few years.
Oh, it's called crowds. They're called crowds.
Mm-hmm.
So basically,
that's in the name of the show.
Yeah, it is. There's an app that they all use that basically they use it to vote on everything from the president to little things to medium things. And basically, an alien comes down and makes that app come to life to where basically go with the flow or else is basically what it ends up being.
It's like if Twitter had a real physical effect on the world. And
oh God, you just made this show even worse. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, don't think too hard about crowds. It will make you sad.
Oh God, why did you say that? I was just like, it's just a little social app. I'm happy with it. You're like, it's Twitter, and I'm like, oh God, the cesspool. No,
it's Twitter. Back when like Twitter was just kind of, a fun thing instead of something that we stared at occasionally and been like, what the hell?
Yeah. So yeah, it's basically if Twitter had a physical manifestation, and basically once the alien took it over, if you and of course it always starts slow. You never notice. It's just some random person without family. They just, they're not at school today. Oh, where's she? Oh, she's not at work today. And just more and more people just start getting disappeared. And nobody knows why until they realize it's too late. And then they see the actual physical manifestation. And it's not just one thing. It is multiple things all around the country. And you see them. They're these blobless humanoid shapes that just walk around. And when it's time to vote, they will stop and stare at any group of people. And anyone that does not vote the way that group votes gets disappeared on the spot. It's not right. It's not good. It's basically saying this is what the world could come to if you let it. And of course, here are their mechas. Of course, they got to be nice and bright and shiny. And of course, they all have their special, unique powers. And these are the guys that are holding the line against the aliens that are trying to conquer Earth by making go with the flow the norm. Yes, Kaio, they got canceled. This is true. They got canceled. And yeah, watch it. And now that he said it's like if Twitter were real, it's in there now. I'm not getting that out of there.
If Twitter had physical manifestations of itself.
Right? And yeah, no.
Also, fantastic representation in the cast.
Yes.
The cast in this is just wild. You couldn't get a more different and varied cast of characters, and I adore all of them.
I just realized that this one is like the mechanic out of Gurren Lagann. You don't know what they are and which way they go. Because they're just like, hey, I exist. Deal with it.
Oh, they're gender fluid pansexual.
Yeah, they are. And of course, they have to have the lolly. She's
You
not
know,
a little kid.
I never really figured her out.
She's a grown adult stuck in that type of body, but it's anime.
Boo, anime.
It's what they do.
She's
like,
not super problematic because they never really tend to. For her, they make it more about her fashion. I never feel like they're trying overtly to sexualize her. Whoever drew her definitely sexualized her. So it's problematic in that sense, but it's not like trying to watch like Dance in the Vampire Bund, where you do one episode and you're like, this is inappropriate and I'm not going to be a part of it.
She is a child, you vampire creep. Stop it. I don't think I didn't finish Dance.
I watched the first episode and there was way too much inappropriate energy. And they're like, it's fine. She's like 700 years old. I'm like, it's not though.
There was another one I watched like that where they had to use the saliva to activate the powers. And I'm like, I'm like, it's going to get better, right? No, it got worse. I just sat there like, what? No. I just stopped watching, and the wife was like, "What are we watching?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I hope it got better. It did not. We're
Japan. Japan, be better."
Well, I mean, that's a meta social commentary, right? Why do we see this kind of entertainment coming prolifically out of Japan, and why do we see it consumed and appreciated worldwide? It's a commentary on censorship.
Not Quasar, the other one, the newer one.
Commentary on censorship.
On censorship? Oh, good thing you said that, because guess what's next? Oh, not that. Why are you playing this? No. Why? Stop. Why? Why is that next? That does not go there.
Was that guy about to get kicked in the head by an invisible girl?
Maybe. Oh, dang it. It's in alphabetical order. That's why. So that is next.
So we're going in alphabetical order then.
We're going in alphabetical order. Oh, yeah, my bad.
That's a perfectly acceptable order.
Right? So this one, of course, everyone, well, I can't say everyone. There are those that are new to anime that don't know what this is.
The younglings are not going to necessarily know this one.
This is true. This is one of those quintessential anime that us old heads like to watch. And it is Ghost in the Shell, the original. And they all do follow the same commentary. Basically, what is human? What is male? What is female? They address all this through the major. Because I've read the manga. I watched the original movie. I watched most of Standalone Complex. I didn't get to the second series, and I didn't get to whatever came afterwards. But I've watched the vast majority of it. And there are times where when the major's main body, this body here, gets messed up, she'll just jump into whoever's available. Guy, girl, androgynous. She doesn't care. And then everyone's like, hey, don't you want a girl body? And she's like, I'm me, the ghost, which is what controls it, no matter where I go. So even if it's a male body, guess what? I'm still a female.
Yeah.
I think it got glossed over and people weren't paying attention to that because I know people back then maybe weren't ready for that.
I don't think it just wasn't a topic that was heavily discussed at the time. So I think most people, unless that was something that you were already dealing with in your day-to-day life and, discussing or possibly struggling with, to figure out, who you are and who you identify as. I think most of us just watched it and went,
the major's the major.
The major's the major. And we didn't think about it in any sort of social commentary sense. It was definitely ahead of its time. And I think because it was before there was this weird spotlight on it, we just watched it and accepted it for what it was without really taking in everything that it was saying.
This is true. So this is one of those that requires a rewatch with today's view of the world to see how it all stacks up to what they were seeing back then. Because apparently they were seeing this a little bit somewhere because they commented on it and made it a main, like in the manga, it's not like an issue, but they talk about it quite frequently where the major's just like, my body's broke. Cool. Put it in the tank. Let's get her fixed. Let's get going. And that's that. And she'll jump into whatever body is available. Does not care. Because she's like, I am the major. I am me on the inside. Outside does not matter. I'm still me. Which in today's society, that's saying something. It's like, I'm still me on the inside. What I look like on the outside does not always represent me until I tell you it does.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people care, sometimes they don't. And that's A-okay. And like the main overarching thing about this is basically, what is it to be human? Because the major's body is literally what, 90% synthetic, like very little biological left except for maybe her brain and like her spine.
Yeah. Like as far as her, thoughts and identity are concerned, yeah, she's human, but do you need a human body to be human?
Or do you just say that you
Yeah.
have the thoughts and the feelings and emotions of a human and that makes you human?
Yeah. Does spending too much time as the machine make you a machine?
And they embrace it and talk about it very well. Actually, one of my favorite things where that line is kind of sort of, unsure of where it is, because it's my favorite part of the series. I love Tachikomas. I bought the game on PS1 and loved it.
I was going to ask if you also played the PS1 game.
Yes, I did.
So we're going to keep this a little bit, possibly start some discussion.
Oh,
did you see the live action movie with Scarlett Johansson?
I didn't mind it because I'm one of those people, I can separate the live action from the animated and watch the live action for what it is and represents. They tried to do a good thing with it. It just didn't come across all of that.
I felt like as far as live action anime adaptations go, it was pretty darn good.
Yes.
Like that's a low bar, but I enjoyed it. We caught it in theaters, and it didn't feel like they missed the mark on anything. I felt like, they really had to, gloss over some things, and not make it a shot for shot remake.
Right.
But as far as like an adaptation for Western audiences concerned, I felt it was pretty good. And I feel like it got a lot of undue hate without people actually watching it and giving it a chance.
Right.
On date night at the theater, I couldn't talk her into seeing it with me. We ended up somewhere else.
What'd you wind up watching?
Oh, who knows? That's in the way back.
It wasn't memorable enough. It doesn't matter.
Nope.
It doesn't matter.
Was this
All
a
right.
first date?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Gotcha.
Do you remember your first movie?
Oh, like all the way back?
No. Like with your current significant other.
Yeah, no.
That's important stuff to remember, Patrick.
Oh, no.
It's not, because mine doesn't remember either, so it's okay.
Well, I remember mine, so
You've got better taste, so these things matter.
It was Now You See Me.
Okay. It's not a terrible movie. It's
fun.
It's mid. It's fun. It's a fun mid movie.
It was a fun date movie. I mean, it wasn't like, you don't want to go into anything like super heavy on your first date, and you don't want to traumatize her with something too scary. You do that later.
Yes, you do. Once you gain their trust, you break it.
Stop eating my cords, you little monster.
That I don't know where he got that from. because neither his dad nor him do that, or neither his dad nor his brother do that. So there's that. All right, so I lied. I'm doing like stock market. I went high, I go low, and now I go high again. So what happens when censorship is too extreme? What happens when you can't tell a dirty joke, or you go to jail and get re-educated?
Is it the South Park movie?
No.
I know what this is.
So this is a world in which dirty jokes and anything considered smut is no longer allowed. And there are vigilantes out there, these two in particular. Kaio, no. Oh God, no. Why?
I missed what he said. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a great first date movie. Which one?
No.
Anyways, Reggie, tell me about Shimonetta.
Shimonetta, the world where there are no dirty jokes. Basically, the world decided we're getting too lewd, we're getting too dirty. We're going to outlaw anything resembling sexuality outside of your home or anything that seems lewd. So basically, if you would see the little anime character hold up her sign that says lewd, it's a no-go. And it starts off with these guys. They're in an abandoned building in the middle of a destroyed part of the city with their Playboy mags. Like, oh, yeah, I got the good stuff. And they're like trading their Playboy mags. And the police come in and beat the crap out of them for having it.
It's like breaking up a terrorist attack.
It
is handled so seriously.
They come, the ropes, the helicopters, the flashbangs, all of it over dirty magazines. And because they're dirty magazines and the way the laws are set up, each magazine carries its own sentence. And so it's this world where this young lady puts her underwear over her face to hide her identity to bring smut back to the masses. Yes, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Yes, the Twitter Puritans got power is basically what Shimonetta is.
Yeah, it's heavily about, a bunch of old people in power declaring that, you're going to learn this way, you're going to think this way. And it's all done through a very clever guise of you're not allowed to talk about sex or see porn or
you learn about it when you get married and your partner and you do it in the bedroom, and that's that.
Yeah. And it's probably incredibly dull and very confusing and very scary to both parties.
Yes, it is, because no one's talking about it, so you can't learn about it. But these guys go through and they distribute smut as far and wide as they can. And yeah, it's just them trying to bring it back. And she is a straight pervert because, yes, those are her panties. And she's doing exactly what you think she's doing to that pole with her panties.
That's from the opening.
Yes, it is. And to go along with what Kaio is saying, there is a girl that is the leader of the Purity Club, and she is the worst one in the show.
You can't even talk about it here.
I'm just gonna say she makes cookies with her nectar to give to the main character. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I feel like you said everything just now.
No, because you gotta see the reactions.
You said it. Any adult here is gonna put that together.
Yeah, they probably will. But yeah, no, it's even more intense when you see her face when she's talking about what she did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. And then the episode after that, when they're in the bushes.
The show, it's a very comedic take on a very real world serious problem.
Yes.
And it shows it through the lens of comedy, and it's probably one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. But the real world reflection of this is that it is incredibly damaging to the mind to not be honest regarding this kind of education and how important a strong and honest education on sex is. The show is hilarious. It's very fun, but it's a serious, serious, serious problem.
It's because it shows you how backwards people will become when they don't know any better.
Yeah, and she was committing serious, dangerous crimes and assault, and because she has no idea what the hell's going on.
She doesn't know what's right and wrong because her body's like, you feel this way, and she doesn't know how to express it.
Pat, did you see Shimonetta?
Kaio, no.
Oh,
stop.
Absolutely not. I'm a good boy.
So you're saying we're not? You calling us degenerates?
I mean, you're
Okay,
definitely
you're
the
not
most
wrong.
wholesome of the three of us. But
I got
I
you,
know
cool.
I set a low bar.
But yeah,
No, this is exactly the anime I was talking about earlier.
Anime.
Reggie read my mind.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, she is not innocent. She is not innocent whatsoever.
And
well,
that's always the way it goes. The Purity Club chiefs are always the dirtiest ones. The guys who are anti-abortion are the ones needing to get them, and the anti-gay people standing behind the bullhorn are the ones who are probably tasting dicks on the weekend.
Basically, it's the lovely tagline. They're telling on themselves.
It's projection, 100% projection. And the show is dealing with incredibly serious issues through a hilarious lens. And I don't think when it came out, anybody thought things were going to be as bad as they've actually gotten.
We now know better.
It's like, oh my God. I am like 1984.
Shocked. It's like 1984, but anime. It's like, we're going to get to this. We can never get to, we'll never get to, oh my God, we're in the middle of it.
I'm thinking more Fahrenheit 451, but yeah, we're both on the same page.
Yeah. You're like, we can't get to that. We'll uprise before we're just going to let that happen.
I have mentioned both Ray Bradbury and Robert Heinlein in a single podcast.
That you have. Yeah. So that is my list and what they talk about. So, Patrick, regale us.
Awesome. So I wanted to fit interspecies reviewers in somehow. I feel like I could have contrived a really good point about their social commentary, but then I decided to give up on being pretentious and awesome.
I would have supported you 100%.
You always support me. And that's
I would support whatever you want to talk about. I'll support you in it. Do I think it's right sometimes? Probably not. But I will support you.
Hey, thanks, Reggie.
Of course.
So what we're going to talk about instead is Attack on Titan, lightly.
That's not near as much fun as interspecies reviewers.
At all. Yeah. Mikasa notwithstanding. So, in the event, food trucks stop arriving at our supermarkets, society is going to change just a little bit quite rapidly. And things like money and power are going to look and feel differently. And the value of human life is going to change fundamentally. And Attack on Titan jumps right in there. And as the series goes on, the lines between the good guys and the bad guys, they blur. And there is some real deep, real and impactful social commentary there, but it's not hidden. They go right for it, and you get it. And so there's something to be said there, and I like it from a post-apocalyptic point of view.
So I only saw the first season, so I can't add too much to this.
I didn't watch it, but I know the plot of it, and bro, it gets deep into that. I'm like, oh, it's just fight. It's like a giant anime movie or show, but with not. And then I learned the backstory of that whole thing, and I was like, nah, bro, you can't do that. exactly biomex?
Pregnant
Continue.
women?
You seem lost, Patrick.
Oh, I was listening to you, and I wanted you to respond to Steve.
I'm sorry. What did Steve say?
Did you not hear what I said? I said pregnant women.
Biomass.
If two pregnant women get into a fight, is it a flesh mecha battle?
Yes, it is. Because
No,
well, not
man,
really,
we-
because Manny's piloting the women. They're not. No, they kind of sort of are controlling the women to a point, though.
Not
It's more
really.
like Ratatouille than Mecha.
So is my shared
Or
screen coming through?
Rakakuni. Your shared screen is not coming through. I think Reggie needs to.
It's not coming through at all on my end.
Oh, you know, it's
You select the
asking me for
window
a
and
tab
tell
to
it what you want to
Yeah,
share.
yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. Way better. But the actual anime, the first one I wanted to bring up was Parasite the Maxim. So this is a boy and his dog Tail, except the dog in this case happens to be an alien when trying to take over his brain was confined to his arm by the clever use of a tourniquet. The alien is sentient, but has animal level of morality and values. And so they have a very cool dynamic navigating the new human versus alien society that crops up. And like the aliens kind of aren't really good about staying on the down low, so they eventually give themselves away.
Because their instincts take over and they're like, ooh, I want to eat that human right there.
Yep. And I'm not going to let you bully me. You can go fuck right off with my magic alien powers. And yeah, there's a lot that goes on there. So I was dating a girl at the time, and we had really good conversations about the social commentary brought up by this show. It was one of the reasons I didn't continue to date her because she just couldn't keep up with me like you dudes do.
Don't we feel special?
You are special. But yeah, so Parasite the Maxim. They focus on the boy and his dog part to start, and they end at the social commentary and what it means to be a good steward of the planet, and what morality and humanity mean to you, and how you'd really feel confronted with the possibility of having it taken away. And then I had a really funny final one. Goblin Slayer.
I'm curious to hear
your commentary on this one, sir.
Yeah.
He took the hat off. He's getting serious.
Oh man, because I don't initially look at Goblin Slayer and think of it as a social commentary. So I'm really looking forward to hearing this.
I'm only interested in participating in society as long as my loved ones and I are insulated from terror. As soon as goblins descend on my village, fuck social commentary, fuck society. I'm getting revenge. And my emotions no longer need them. You see this fundamentally broken guy on his quest for revenge. And, the rage of Achilles is a real thing. There's a reason people get into soccer riots and loot and are ready to burn societies down and go through not well thought out revolutions. And so, yeah, Goblin Slayer for me, putting myself in Pro Tag Kuhn's shoes. It's like, ooh, social commentary isn't even a factor for this guy. And why is that not even a factor for him? And yeah, could I ever see myself getting there? Ooh, man, that'd be a rough day.
So the suggestion here is that society is what failed Goblin Slayer and failed to protect him and his sister.
No. It's all the goblin's fault. But he doesn't need society any more than it is a vehicle by which he can carry out his retribution.
Okay.
And when we get stuck in that cycle of revenge where he becomes a goblin to the goblins, he in turn is a goblin to them, he doesn't participate in society. He loses all the values and benefits of it. And it's a tragedy.
And we see him in the process of relearning some of those values of being a member of society.
Everyone who cares about him trying to do that, and him not caring and getting his sweet dick kicking revenge.
You know, I think that we did see some growth with him, though, because he did learn to trust his party members with his life through the series. I see where you're going with this. Interesting. I hadn't considered it before. I kind of just turned my brain off when I watched Goblin Slayer. I hadn't put too much thought into this one.
Oh yeah, I really liked to step into the characters. It's totally a Dungeons and Dragons turned anime, so it lends itself to it.
Kyle has a point there. That type of society wouldn't see goblins as a problem when there's no Demon King, so there's no one controlling and making them do things. They're just wild and running around. However,
that's what you have porcelain ranked adventurers for.
So yeah, most of society doesn't see them as a threat because it doesn't affect them
until it does.
Yeah, no, you have something with this. I'm here for it. I'm on board.
Pat went digging where we didn't think there was gold and got platinum.
I was just like, why is there no social commentary there? Oh, that's on purpose. Ha.
I mean, Pat is like one of the smartest people I know.
Yeah, he is.
Maybe second smartest person I know.
I just listened to Reggie, whatever.
Oh, that's definitely a lie.
Reggie is wise. So I've attached myself to you two because we got intelligence and we got wisdom right here.
Insight, wisdom, and then you've got creativity.
Yep. Yeah, he does.
I'll take that.
Fantastic. Well, this was a good conversation. You guys all brought some zingers.
And I learned something today. I'm going to have to rewatch Goblin Slayer with these ideas in mind.
And season 2 is coming out later this year.
Oh, freaking finally, man.
It took them long enough. Jesus Christ.
Gosh. How many years ago was it that we got the Goblin Crown?
2
or 3
movie? God.
2
felt
years
like forever.
Yeah. Okay. Mouse. There we go. Wisdom is a suggestion. More fun is had when wisdom is lacking. I mean, yes and no.
Yes and
depends
no.
on what you deem as fun. Because I have all kinds of fun with my wisdom and like, ooh, I shouldn't do that. Ooh, there's something I shouldn't do, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I shouldn't do it. And that's precisely why it's going down. Oh, yeah.
This seems like a bad idea. But will it be fun?
That's the time that I lived with you in the house, that was my mind thought for most of that time of, fuck it. What's my answer to this? Fuck it. Am I going to do this? Yeah, let's do it. Fuck it. Let's go. Can't do that no more. I got family and, responsibilities. I got more than just myself to think about. I can't be doing that no more.
It's a fun period in our lives to look back on.
There you go.
Well said.
Why worry about something that's not going to happen until after I'm done?
Excuse me while I look up Suprete. To set or keep apart, to disconnect or sever. Make a distinction between discriminate or distinguish.
It's another way to say separate. Wow.
I've learned two things today. I learned Suprete, and I learned that Goblin Slayer is deeper than I realized.
Right?
So, always educational talking with you guys.
It is. And of course, I have to have this. Hold on. I need to go do this. What if the goblins were representative of a race that people didn't like? Not just goblins. I just mean like, you know what I mean. What if they meant that? And this is how that guy saw them, and that's how the society sees them.
Are you suggesting that he created goblins within his fantasy world in the same way that some people view orcs in Tolkien and fantasy media?
I'm just asking the questions.
I think that there's a possibility there that somebody could create something like this. In the terms of Goblin Slayer there, I don't see it. Primarily because the show just seems so busy being a love letter to tabletop role-playing games.
Actually, this is true. I forgot about the gods and their dice rolling.
Yeah, I mean that's even in like the intro. He doesn't let anyone roll the dice for him. Like, so I see where you're coming from, but I feel like this one is innocent.
Okay.
As innocent as a show like Goblin Slayer can be.
As innocent as everything after the first episode can be.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. yeah.
All right.
So
Yeah.
back to your question about racism, Reggie. Have you ever heard of the book called A Company of Heroes?
The book? No.
Cool. So Lewis and Clark the Explorers, Lewis's older brother, led a company of soldiers called the East Company. The British went out a little bit more westerly than most of the American settlers, set up a fort, and then started hiring the natives to raid and kill and do horrible goblin-like things to the American settlers. And so the East Company formed at about 100 men in the middle of winter, marched their asses out there and did some A-grade American commando shit. And, I want to live in a world of peace and harmony. But when the social contract breaks down, anyone who lays a hand on my daughter fucking dies. It's how it is. And race isn't a factor, but the security and trust is.
This is true.
And you want to do goblin-like things, you're going to get goblin-like consequences. And that puts me directly into the cycle of revenge. It puts me right into the rage of Achilles, and that's a bad thing. So what's the answer? It's something to think about.
Huh. And now I'm learning history.
Right? But see, just thoughts about our government and how they like to do things and paint people as other.
Well, they deserve it, so it's fine.
Our government.
Exactly. Our politics are two teams, right? You got your Reds and you got your Blues, and both teams are horrible and they deserve each other.
There's no two teams.
There's
one team of purple. Light purple and dark purple. Don't let them lie to you. It's all one team.
I can't believe we don't have, really charismatic, well-spoken, intelligent people pointing a third better way forward. I'm waiting for it.
That's by design.
I know.
They get smushed to the ground when they try.
Yep.
That's by design.
It is.
There's got to be a way for somebody to succeed. But now we're on to actual social commentary, and we've left our weebness behind. Are you ashamed yet?
No, I'm just depressed now.
Oh.
Why you gotta bring me down, man?
Well, I'm watching Armitage 3, so whatever, dude. You do you.
Look, it's social commentary. We've all got it. We all have our views on it. How you see the world may not be the way that the world really is, but guess what? It's the way you choose to live in the world.
And everything is undoubtedly way more nuanced than most of us are going to see it during moments of strong emotions. So
this is
shit sucks. Be good to each other.
And watch more anime.
And
watch more anime. Well, on that note, I will end our show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting, especially you, Kyle, who I haven't talked to in a long time because I'm not on Steven's streams like I used to be because,
life.
Everyone misses your elbow.
No, fun fact, I made my debut on the internet like this.
Like that, standing right next to me.
What is
When
that?
you got it. You got it. A-grade elbows.
That's right.
Everyone was like, "Who's that? Whose elbow is that?"
But that's okay. That's what we all do. We're all here to annoy him. Got to keep him on his A game.
Easily annoyed and quickly distracted, prone to going on rants.
Yeah, he is. But that's
Quality
okay.
content.
That's what streaming is for.
Ranting.
I mean,
What
Ranting
else?
and raving like a grouchy old man.
back in my day. Yes, just like that. All right, so I was ending this. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. We appreciate all of you. We are here every other week because this is my best friends, Weebing. And hey, look, there they are over there. Those are my best friends over there.
These two gentlemen.
See them? That's them right there.
Much
and
love.
we're here to talk about anime, each other, and how our taste is all trash. And we're okay with that. Thank you for
You
watching.
have excellent tastes. Don't
Yeah.
kid yourself.
Yeah, it's okay. I know most of what I watch is trash, and I'm okay with it. It's okay. I accept me as me. I know what I watch. I know what I like. It's okay. Because this is a Hyro Geek X Unlimited production. This is my best friend's Weebing. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks with a brand new topic, and we're going to just come in and blow your brains out and teach you some more stuff, and maybe we'll get taught some more stuff by you, the people in the comments, just like we did today. Who knows? Come back and see. See ya.
Later.